Welcome to another episode of How Do Most Sustainable Architects in the World, Anders Linder, get ideas to become even more sustainable. This is a mini-series within our channel, Reconstructing the World. And today, Anders, we're going to look at something. We're going to jump in the middle of a project, right?
Yes. We're going to talk about a project that's a private client, a client that wanted to convert an old farm to his home. And it's a total ruin, and everyone would normally demolish it, but we want to keep it. So what do we do? And for that, and to help us, we have Nikolaj here, who's the project manager on the project, and he's also the project manager on our Juletræ.
Yeah, it's called the Christmas tree in English.
What did I say? Maybe start with telling us about our client.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a nice couple. Who are they and where do they live actually?
Yeah.
So it's Jakob and Camilla, and right now they live in a row house in 3 Kroner, which is 80 square meters.
Yeah.
and
people.
Yeah, I think the kids are actually moving away.
Yeah, exactly.
So now it's only a couple. So we have a client who needs more space and who's been fortunate to be able to invest in this property.
Yeah.
So they want to move from a small family house to a huge barn on the countryside close to Roskilde.
And create a forest, right? This probably
you can see around. Maybe you can just show around their site.
Yeah.
There is farmland now,
but
that has to be converted into forest.
They want to convert that into forest.
Well,
right?
they don't. It's the municipality. So it's Natur- og Miljøstyrelsen. They have made a project where they want to I don't know the word in English.
Reforestation.
Reforestation.
Rewilding.
Rewild the whole area. So you can actually see a map here of the coming conditions.
So was this given by the municipality already?
This is the reason why they bought the plot, because they saw the potential. They are biologists, and they want to live close to nature, and well, that's what they're getting now.
I think the important thing is here that we have a client that's super interesting in both sustainability, but also kind of the biological system.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the brief here is, can you convert this building that most would demolish, convert it and use biology as part of the equation to solve it, salvage materials, create a lot of different biotopes in the building, around the building, and create a kind of a healthy biological lifestyle where they can move in and live there hopefully for the rest of their lives, and have their family coming there, living there with their kids, and also a guest house. So it becomes a lot of people. They also want people to maybe rent a part of the building and live as a kind of a hotel. What is that called?
Breakfast.
Shining. The movie Shining. No, you're not thinking that. Okay, but close.
Something like that, right? So, so that's where the team starts the project, and so maybe just look at how these are the interiors. This is how it looks today.
So this is how it looks today. It's like worn down. It's old. This is like an old pigsty or
yes,
cow.
Exactly. It used to be for pigs.
Yeah.
From what I know.
these kind of buildings that we have all over Denmark.
Yeah.
And actually all over the world. That is obsolete because all agriculture is being mashed together in big factories, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So what was the first thing you were? Now you're thinking like an animal. You need to think like a biosystem, right, Nikolaj?
Yes.
So what are you doing to get ideas for this?
We have two kind of concepts. One is that we want to work with circularity and reuse as much as possible on the site. So we have one part of the building which used to be the living
Where's
quarters.
That? Can you point to it?
Yeah.
Oh, you have a model there. Please point to that.
Yeah, but we don't have that building there because we're going to demolish it. It's actually here on the map. Maybe you can film that.
It's a ghost building.
It's a ghost building because that building we are demolishing it.
Yeah, because that doesn't sound sustainable.
That doesn't sound good, but we will reuse the materials from that building and then use that for building the new living conditions inside the barn.
So that was the first.
That was the first one. The other one is that we want to build with as many biogenic materials as possible.
Okay.
So we want to both use, hopefully we can harvest some materials from the area.
Yeah.
Both materials that grows, but also materials that we find on the plot in the soil. Perhaps we can use rammed earth or rocks that we find on the farm fields. And then we also want to use wood and wood fiber insulation and hempcrete, like materials that
can grow in the area actually.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you guys made a concept saying, we will try and redo this project, this building from a farm to a house, only using what's within the plot.
Can grow there.
Yeah.
The cool thing is here, what if we didn't touch the building at all? And I think like at all.
Okay.
Like looking at we agreed on that, you know, there's a certain beauty in things that has just decayed.
Okay.
And often when we recycle in the project we showed in other chapters, it's about making them look nice, that they perform. We have a client that wanted to last for a long time and so on. But in this case, what about the beauty of time taking over and basically nature harassing the facades and the bricks and creating a pattern of decay? And I think that was, you know, if we did nothing, and Nikolaj has done a really wonderful project. He's really good. He's done a project in Holstebro where it's an old slaughtery, where it was about that we didn't do anything.
Great.
So
looking forward to see that place with hanging pigs and
exactly. There was blood on the walls when we came there.
Okay, great.
It was pretty crazy.
And you're just like, hey, let's use epoxy to save that.
It looks like a painting or a murder. Let's keep it. No, but so if we could keep as much as possible, change as little as possible, and then we've just ran into some really big problems.
Oh shit! What?
Yes. So I talked about the old living quarters, stuehuset, before, and it has been renovated in the 70s.
Oh.
And that is very often a problem because in that period you use some problematic and hazardous materials.
Oh, like asbestos.
Asbestos and PCB and all that. So that's one of the reasons why we want to demolish Stuhus, because it has had a really bad renovation.
Okay, so the building was called the ghost house.
Yeah,
the ghost house
needs to go down, and then you will harvest materials from there.
Yes.
Yeah.
To then go and renovate the old farmhouse, the old farm barn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these to be built walls and spaces inside the big open space, so it can become a housing project. And those materials, where do they come from? One, we harvest them from the old, the ghost house that we're taking down, or two, we grow the material on site.
Yeah. So this looks fantastic. Then you start renovating. So then you start saying, okay, how can I imagine, Nikolaj, you start, how little can I do to keep this patina of the building and still make it modern, livable, right?
Yeah, so actually when you look at the plan here, it looks like a lot is going on, but actually the only thing we add is the red things, and that's mainly insulation, because people have to live there and we need them to be in a nice condition. But apart from that, all the dark lines is more or less what we try to keep. So we really try to keep as many of the structural elements as possible, and then we remove some of them and we add some.
Oh, so it's like this is like living in a house within a house.
Exactly.
Yes. So this become some sort of
this used to be I think the pigsty, and the same here. So instead of removing these walls, we just add new wooden constructions inside, insulated.
And the same thing here. And this is also a level. This seems like quite Is this all insulated or only the?
This is insulated.
Okay, so you have a living space here,
Yeah,
a living space here.
Exactly.
Okay.
So this is in the morning. They wake up. They have the sun coming in from the east, and they hang out here. And then in the evening, they go over here. They have their guests. They have a big, nice space here where they can look outside, and they have really beautiful big windows. And then here, this is
how many square meters is this?
It's pretty big.
But are the two people?
You can say, what is the insulated square meters? How much is kind of the living spaces? Yeah. Because I mean, one thing is the envelope, that's big. Yeah. And for me, when we do, you can say nothing, but we do something still, so that's of course in account. But this is a garden. I mean,
inside garden.
An indoor-outdoor space, the same here. And also, this one is a kind of a courtyard, a greenhouse.
And this is also insulated.
Yeah, this is their.
So that's a bed and breakfast.
Roughly 300 square meters insulated.
How much is it?
It's about 300, but you hit it spot on.
What? Woohoo! How do you know that?
You see how quickly I went into that pose?
It's dramatically.
Yeah.
But can we look at the model, Nicolai?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is one of our sketch models. This is something we use both to understand the building ourselves, but also to explain it to the client.
Yeah.
So if we start over here, this is the guest house. So here we have a roof, obviously.
And here we used to have the old main house.
Yeah, you can remove
shit. So this is but just like observation, Nicolai.
Yeah.
So you because you had a garden inside. So I guess what you were thinking, hey, we need to have an indoor area that is not insulated but nice to be in, and that's why you create kind of. Is it a greenhouse?
This is a greenhouse, and this is we have the greenhouse and the orangerie.
Orangerie?
On parle français ici.
Oh, you speak French?
Yes, yes.
I don't. So you created these spaces, and I actually think this is a wonderful idea. And from observing your work here,
yes,
it's like you always trying to find the balance of having livable spaces or something that human can live in, but then making it on sort of nature's term. Can you say that?
Yes.
So you say, okay, you don't need fucking 600 square meters to live in. That's basically what you guys were saying.
You only
right?
need 300.
Yeah, you decided.
Live small.
Yeah.
No, but obviously they bought this place because they were in love with the site and the nature.
Yeah.
And then you have a big barn, so it becomes a big house.
Yeah.
That's kind of the premise, I guess. But you have all this kind of free space, which is the space in between.
Okay, so livable.
I have to learn to speak
livable. And then nature's way in here.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to use the building to give, different spatial experience. Now I'm an architect talking, right? So different spatial experiences when you walk from room to room, from space to space. So here you have the bedroom. You walk into a greenhouse. You have plants. You have smells, etc.
Oh yeah, this is where the big glass one.
And then you walk down here, you have a tree, so you're constantly surprised. And here you actually have their office, so they will look outside here.
I'm not constantly surprised, because if you've been living there a couple of years, you're not that surprised. Whoa! This is greenhouse space. I'm fucking with you, but
maybe they have a short-term memory.
Like it was an actual architecture cliché. You're just surprised. No, I've been going all night because of my prostata, and then I'm not super surprised the fifth time I passed this. Anyway, not to be critical, but
okay, they will become happy all the time. So
that's
it's happiness booster.
Super fantastic.
We try to boost the happiness all the time.
That's such a good save.
Yeah.
Do you go to the?
But can I be a little critique?
No.
No. And the thing is that right now the stage of the project is that volumes, the spaces are getting into place, and now what are the surfaces made of is the next thing.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going into now. And in a small project like this, when you have only 300 square meters, a 600 square meters envelope, which is quite a lot, but then we have to figure out, how is it possible to invent new materials and invent solutions for this project?
Yeah.
And that's the next stage.
Yeah.
So we should follow it.
But Nicolai, you're really, really skilled at what you do, and I think it's great. I'm really excited about this.